There is no time like the summertime to indulge your craving for reality TV, and for the last few weeks, I have been painstakingly combing through 30 years of housewives, catfish, hoarders, socialites, pitchy singers, iron chefs, bad cooks, 90-day fiancés, drag queens, ninja warriors, castaways, and unlikely housemates to curate the 100 essential, can't-miss, must-see reality TV shows of all time, and I compiled them in a countdown from number 100 all the way to number 1. And now this was no easy feat, and I looked at many factors, including cultural impact, longevity, sheer entertainment value, to compile a list that truly captures the depth and breadth of the reality TV genre. I encourage all of you to check out the entire list of 100 series, which I guarantee includes some reality shows, some surprises like Paris Hilton's The Simple Life that many of us have forgotten about, except for Scott. But right now we're going to reveal the top 10 titles and see if our panel agrees with my choices. So we're going to start off here with number 10 momentarily, and that is Queer Eye. And this includes both the original 2003 series Queer Eye for the Straight Guy and the 2018 reboot. Number 9, Jersey Shore, obviously a cultural phenomenon that made Snooki and Situation household names for some reason. The Hills, was it real or scripted? Who cares? It is among the guiltiest of reality TV pleasures. 7 is Keeping Up with the Kardashians. The series just came to an end in June after 20 seasons and 280 episodes. A few series have helped launch so many stars into the cultural zeitgeist, from Kim to Kendall to Kylie to Caitlyn. 6, RuPaul's Drag Race. I want to pause for a moment. Scott, could you please help me explain the cultural significance of this show?
Absolutely, David. As you know, I'm a big fan, and I know you are as well. But as someone who's been following this show for a very long time, it's had an unprecedented impact on the LGBTQ plus community, sort of helped bring the art of drag to the forefront of pop culture and normalize queer culture in general, which for young queer folk who are looking for representation in media, that's really, really important. But it's also used this platform to educate viewers, both straight and queer, about things like HIV/AIDS, depression, suicide, gender confirmation surgery, sexual assault, racism, homophobia, terrorism, same-sex marriage, conversion therapy, and so much more. So for a reality show that is largely fun and exciting to watch, to talk about such kind of things that are really, really important to kind of discuss and give it a platform, that's huge. So yeah, I love that you've included it here and appreciate it. So thanks.
Of course, it was tough to like order any of these. Gordon or Rose, do you have any thoughts on 10 through 6 before we see the top 5?
Honestly, David, like these should go in any order. They just had such a big impact on the TV in general. So, and first of all, like what an amazing undertaking this must have been, David. And I think you did a really fantastic job.
Thanks. And like I said before, I guarantee like when you dig back through this, like especially 100 to 10, like there are things in there that you'll be like, I forgot this was even a show. Like I'll just spoil one, and we kind of showed it before, but The Mole, starring Anderson Cooper, like, yeah.
I remember that
The
show.
Mole was
That was
amazing.
great.
The Mole was awesome.
Show.
So you'll have a lot of moments like, oh my God, I remember that, and hopefully watch it. So let's move on to number 5 to number 1. 5 is The Real Housewives. Again, this is encompassing the entire franchise from Beverly Hills to Atlanta to New York. It's obviously a wildly popular show, and they've also launched many, many stars as well. American Idol coming in at number 4, the OG singing competition. Next year marks the 20th anniversary of Idol. Not only did the series launch the careers of host Ryan Seacrest and judge Simon Cowell, but also the careers of Kelly Clarkson, Carrie Underwood, and Clay Aiken, y'all.
David's favorite.
My favorite. Number 3, The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. 3 months before Idol premiered, we were blessed with the OG dating competition. Yes, blind date did premiere a few years before that, but The Bachelor established this soap opera elimination format that has been imitated time and time again. Does anyone here remember who the first Bachelor was?
Oh, Bachelor. No.
You were you were almost right, Rose. Say what you were going to say.
Trista? Or
Trista Rayne was. Trista was the runner-up in the first season of The Bachelor, and The Bachelor was Alex Michelle, and he gave the final rose to Amanda Marsh. And shocker, it didn't last.
What?
Yeah. And
alert,
number 2, The Real World. Before reality TV was even a genre, there was The Real World. And I recently actually talked to Scott about the impact this show had on me as a kid, particularly as it relates to season 3 in San Francisco, which focused quite a bit on openly gay cast member Pedro Zamora's battle with AIDS. And it was sort of my first exposure to discussions about HIV, AIDS, homophobia, and just being an ally in general. And I think that was the case for a lot of people at that time, which is why the show ended up being so groundbreaking and impactful. So for me, it had like a really long-lasting legacy and certainly deserves to be this high, if not number 1. It was a really, really tight race between 2 and 1, but ultimately, I gave number 1 to one of the longest running reality shows of all time. It's Survivor, which premiered in May of 2000 and has produced a stunning 40 seasons of incredible TV. Gordon, as our Survivor expert, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the cultural significance of this show.
Well, first of all, David, I think you could have gone either way with Real World and Survivor. And I'm a Survivor guy, obviously. Fun fact, that's actually a screen-worn Survivor hat that Jeff Probst won. I think in Cambodia. I don't remember exactly. But yeah, I'm a Survivor guy. I've been reporting on the show since Survivor Gabon, which was season 17. As far as, if you weren't around in the year 2000, it was legitimately the biggest thing on TV. The finale had 51.69 million viewers for the Borneo finale, where Rich Hatch defeated Kelly Wigglesworth. To put that in perspective, the Friends finale, a couple years later, was 51.1 million. So it was just huge at the time. And then that led into the season Survivor, the Australian Outback, which, premiered after the Super Bowl and did amazing numbers. You can consider Survivor responsible for tropes such as as basic as a reality show where after every episode we get rid of somebody and whittle our way down. I don't know if they invented it, but they definitely made it popular in the United States. Also in that format, like creating alliances, so many of the things Jeff Probst has said have become cultural catchphrases like the tribe has spoken, things along those lines. And you mentioned The Real World and how it opened your eyes to Pedro and his plight. Like Survivor had its moments with Richard Hatch and Rudy Bosch. Rudy Bosch was very homophobic in season 1 and became best friends with Richard Hatch, who's a homosexual, and it was kind of a nice, it sounds ridiculous to talk about, today, but at the time was a pretty big deal. So yeah, and Survivor, it's 21 years later, it's still happening. It's going to be back in the fall. It's going to be back in the spring. You can't kill it. It's the primetime juggernaut. On Wednesday, it still makes its number. Every other rating has gone up and then gone down. Survivor is like a steady plateau with that rating. So look forward to season 41 coming up in September on CBS.
Yeah, we are a loyal bunch. Whenever I meet somebody else who watches Survivor, I'm like, oh, you're one of the other ones too. It's like me and Gordon, and I think Kayla watches Survivor as well. So we're few, but we're consistent.
You know what it is? Kids like Survivor for the adventure. While most shows their audience dwindles, Survivor keeps bringing in young folks to check it out. So and also Survivor has been responsible for way more marriages than The Bachelor or The Bachelorette. So they've got that going for it too.
Good call. Scott, Rose, any thoughts? Any thoughts on that top 5 before we get going?
I agree with every single one of your selections. Like, bravo, David. That I know that was probably a very hard list to come up with and justifications why, but I absolutely agree with all of them. All of them very impactful, especially Survivor. Gordon, with Survivor, like, I didn't watch reality. I didn't really know about reality, period. But everyone, whether you knew about reality TV or not, this new genre, they heard about Survivor, and I absolutely am not mad at your top 10. All of them. I mean, really, David, amazing.
Thanks. Scotty, you want the last word?
Of course. Yeah, no, David, I think you did a great job. Like, there's not a whole lot to say here. You had reached out to me about some of this stuff as you were doing it. I think your top whatever 10 that you showed today was fantastic and bang on. A lot of the reality trash that I watched back in the day, I think is further up in the list if it didn't make it at all. Those wonderful things like Charm School and
in there.
I don't know, that lovely VH1 I won called Scream Queens, where there was all these young actresses vying for a part in Saw, which I don't think you've included, rightfully so.
Didn't make the list.
Not appropriate to make it in there, but also a fun one to watch. But yeah, it really this whole collection really made me think about all of the fun, silly reality shows that I used to watch back in the day. And some of the premises were just really kooky and crazy back then. And so I think it's just really cool to see how it's kind of grown and what actually has stuck around and had a lasting impact. So I appreciate you pulling all this together for everyone.
Absolutely. And you, Gordon, you've got a game for us based on reality shows.
I do. So as Scott was saying, there have been reality shows that had very weird premises. So we decided to do a game to see if you could tell the real premise from the fake premise. And I actually reached out, I know a lot of reality show folk, and I reached out on Twitter. I'm like, does anybody have like a list of like the worst reality shows? And Jessica Leese, who's a podcaster on both Post Show Recaps and Rob Has a Podcast, had the most amazing list I've ever seen in my life. They actually did a mole podcast where they actually brought up horrible old reality shows. So if you watch the mole podcast, if you listen to that, don't tell your friends about the answers to these. Keep them to yourself. What you want you to do is use your remote control to vote. I'm going to give you a premise, and you let us know if you think this premise is real or fake. Starting off, the show was called Who's Your Daddy? And it's about a young woman who had been adopted as an infant meets 25 different men, one of whom is her biological father. If she can identify him, she wins $100,000. If another man convinces her that he is her biological father and he is not, he gets $100,000. Is that show real or is it fake? Rose, what do you think?
Okay, I'm gonna just talk it through before I give you my answer. I feel like you wouldn't start with the fake one right off the bat, but this sounds so ridiculous that I can't believe it could be a premise. But my first instinct, because I don't think you would start off with a fake one off the bat, is it's true. Please no.
Okay, Scott, David, what do you think?
This is the tough one. It absolutely, to me, sounds like something that would be a real reality show back in the day and during a very specific time. Although the title is throwing me off. I feel like that's just a little too straightforward. So I'm going to go with it is a real show.
All right, David, what do you got?
I am almost 95% positive this is real. I feel like I can picture in my head like multiple dads standing there as like she like chooses who it is, or like one or two. I also just might be thinking of Mamma Mia, which also could just be what I'm thinking of. Isn't that basically the same plot? So I think what I'm actually picturing is Pierce Brosnan.
So you all think it's real, and it is real. It aired on Fox in 2005. Who's Your Daddy? What a horrible concept.
That
all
is,
right, next up.
I know.
Terrible. The worst.
I was hoping it would be true, but dang, y'all, that's crazy.
All right. So next up, we have a television show called What Would Brian Boytono Fix? From his garage in San Francisco, California, figure skating champion and self-taught handyman Brian Boytono shows you how to repair a variety of household items. Is it real or is it fake? Rose?
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna say it's fake. I'm going to say it's fake.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
there's
Scott,
there's no chance that's real.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just jumped in. There's no way that's a real thing.
I'm going to go with fake as well. Also, I'm still just stuck on this poor child who has to figure out who their dad is. That's just so rude.
I couldn't segue into the next question.
Okay. David, what does the What to Watch Live universe think?
What to Watch universe? It's saying 60% real. So I can't believe anyone is saying this is real. Oh, the tides are shifting. It's getting a little close to the middle now. It's still real.
I don't think
because they're listening to you.
All
right.
I don't think this is real, audience.
What would Brian Boytono fix is it is fake. However, a show called What Would Brian Boytono Make aired on the Food Network in 2009. In that show, Brian prepared a variety of dishes. So not that crazy.
I watched that.
Wait, I see what you did there, Gordon.
See what I did? Tricky game.
What's up? All right. What's up next?
All right. The third one is a show called Hurl. Contestants are compelled to eat as much of a particular food as they can. Then they're subjected to a strenuous activity such as swimming or amusement park rides. If they keep the food down, they get to keep the cash. Is it real or fake? Rose?
It sounds like something that would be on Spike.
TV for men.
Spike TV presents Hurl.
I'm gonna say fake. I'm just thinking about like the production costs and all of the liabilities on the back end. I'm gonna say fake. That's a lot.
All right, Scott.
For similar reasons, I'm gonna say fake, but also I don't know. People like watching other people throw up. That's not my jam. It just instantly makes me want to throw up. So
I know.
I'm gonna tentatively say I don't know. Not so confident. It's not so confident fake.
Okay, David?
I am like Rose trying to think of what network would have aired this. I felt like maybe it could have been something that was just on like one of those like early 2000s like websites like break.com or something you downloaded on LimeWire or something like that.
All of the real ones are on an actual linear television network.
Oh, then there's no chance it's real. It's totally fake.
All right, what does the audience think?
The audience is pretty split. 55% fake, 45% real. It's neck and neck, but they're leaning towards fake.
Okay. The show entitled Hurl, where contestants ate food and then we're trying to throw up, is real. It's real, and it aired on G4 in 2008.
G4.
Oh, G4.
Of course. So
That's
Spike,
why you're no
basically.
longer around, dude.
Early Spike. All right. We got two more for you. All right. The next show is called I Want to Look Like a High School Cheerleader Again. With help from trainers from the Dallas Cowboy Cheerleaders, 10 former high school cheerleaders work to regain their previous physiques and compete for a $50,000 prize. Is it real or is it fake? Rose?
I feel like this. I feel like I saw a little bit of this, so I'm gonna say it's real. It was like on some I can't remember what channel it would be on, like a
CMT
cable channel. Yeah, CMT, some cable channel. Not that there's anything wrong with cable channels. Just saying.
Wow.
I go ahead, Scott. I'm so anxious to jump in. Go ahead.
I also think this is real, although the name is just like super long and clunky. That's what's throwing me off here. Like how would you even fit that in like a linear guide? Like you would just be it's a lot.
Cable terms.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, it would just be a lot to try and find. But yeah, I don't know.
I agree with you, Scott. I agree for the exact same reason. It's the clunkiness of I want to look like a high school cheerleader again. Or I just feel like there must be something, there would be a way to make that a little smoother, like make me a high school cheerleader or a pom-pom makeover or there must be something better than that.
UGLY.
You win. You win.
All right. Good night, folks. All right, David, what is the
61% are saying it is real and climbing. The votes are very much leaning towards real.
All right. I Want to Look Like a High School Cheerleader Again is real, and it aired on CMT in 2007.
Yes!
So David gets extra credit. David gets extra credit. All right. All right, this is our last one. So this show is called They Play Doctors on TV. Celebrities learn how to perform various types of medical procedures and actually perform them on patients. Fun fact, C. Thomas Howell would go on to date and eventually marry the tech who taught him how to do an ultrasound. Is it real or is it fake? Rose?
Fake. Think of all of the liabilities. I'm thinking like industry now. Like the networks would have so much liability.
So waivers
I mean, a celebrity performing an actual like procedure on someone? No, I would not. If I were on that show, I would not sign that like release.
Then you wouldn't be on
Rose,
that show, Rose.
You don't remember when Tony Danza gave someone a prostate exam? What an episode.
Wow.
Please let it be fake.
Wow.
Scott, you want to weigh in?
I mean, like, the name is too similar for me to like the two scrub guys. They have a podcast that said we're only doctors we only play doctors on TV or something like that, and that's kind of what's throwing me off here. So I'm gonna say
that's what throwing you off.
Yeah, that's the only thing that's throwing me off here.
What do you got, David?
I think because there's no liability that can't be waived with a waiver. I mean, if you can stuff people with food and make them do physical exercise, you can do this as well. I kind of think this is real. I have no idea why. I don't know where it would have aired, but I mean, they had like celebrities play cops in like that one like ride along type series.
Armed and Famous.
Armed
and Famous. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that in The Simple Life. So I actually think this is real.
Okay. What do our friends think?
Overwhelmingly fake.
Okay.
Hope
well,
it's
the
fake.
correct answer.
Please, Gordon.
The correct answer to They Play Doctors on TV. It is fake.
Yes!
And I even tried. I'm like, an ultrasound. You can't get hurt doing an ultrasound. That's what I even like. So, and the funny thing is, I actually based this on a show called like Celebricadabra, where they taught celebrities how to be magicians, and C. Thomas Howell won or something like that. I'm like, ooh, maybe if I change. No. But thank you for playing.
No,
it.
that's fun fact. You had a fun fact in there. I'm like, no, that's a red herring. I know it.
That was the point.
The
like
specificity.
It'd be hard to hurt somebody with an ultrasound. But yes, that's our game. Thank you for playing. You guys did really well.
Hey, yeah. It was very good. And you can watch all of these reality shows by saying best reality shows ever into your voice remote.